Good morning, y'all. So I wanted to do this reflection. I wanted to record this before I forget because y'all, last week was a rough week. And as I was reflecting on the week, there's something pertinent that I realized I needed to do that I've done in the past, but I didn't do this time around. And y'all, I have been feeling it for the past month or so. So this week I found I had a paper due, and like I was doing this paper like 3 or 4 hours a day, in addition to like working and doing all the other stuff, for at least 4 days straight. One day I was at the computer for 4.5 hours to work on this paper. I felt completely stressed, but even prior to getting started, I felt like there was such a it was such a, I don't know, like a procrastination, but it was more than procrastination. It was just like I could not build up the energy or like the mental capacity to get it started. I felt very tired. And so that led into it, me having to work all the way up until the last minute and like stack hours to get it done, which ultimately drained me. And so I was thinking about that over the week. And so what happened was I didn't really have a weekend. I never really had the opportunity to reboot, so to speak, right? Or to rest. And I was thinking about that this morning, and I said, you know what, Letitia, something you didn't do that you normally do when you start every quarter is you get your planner, you look at all the assignments, you look at all the things, and not just the assignments, but let's start with the assignments. You look at the assignments, you write them down in the planner as to the week that they're due. And typically, all of my assignments are due on Sunday. I say that they're due on Friday, right? So that at least I have the bulk of the assignment done on Friday. Saturday, I just want to be editing. I don't want to do anything on Sunday. I want to make sure Sunday is a day for rest, reset, Sabbath, all the things, right? And so I normally plan that out. But then what I also put on a calendar is other things, other events that I have going on, birthdays, things that are of importance to me, right? Significance to me, that I know may require something extra from me, shopping, going to a celebration or whatever it may be, right? And I put those things on the calendar. Anytime that I'm serving in the church, I put serving on there. I already know my work schedule, so I don't need to put that on the calendar. I just need to put some things that are, I don't want to say anomalies, but things that are outside of the norm, right? So let's say my mom has a doctor's appointment, or if I have typically my doctor's appointments, I kind of plan them in a way that they don't really interfere with what has going on. But sometimes my mom may have an appointment or something may come up, and I put that on the calendar. That way I can have a screenshot of my next couple of months and I can plan accordingly. This weekend's going to be kind of tight because I got this and this going on. I need to jumpstart X, Y, and Z because I know I got two anomalies, right, that are happening. And what happens is I allow myself mentally to be prepared for it before it happens. What your girl was doing was like Monday, I'm looking at my week, oh man, paper due. So Monday is a day I actually need to be using to prep for this paper, but Monday I'm just finding out about this paper. And I mean, I did a brief look at the stuff, but I don't remember which week is what week, right? And so Monday I'm like, now my mind has to get prepared. Now I have to get built up and motivated to start this paper. And typically, if I would have already done that on Sunday, I would have looked over some of the guidelines for the paper, so I could at least have that kind of going in my mind. So by the time I get to Monday, I'm like, hey, let's work on this outline, right? As opposed to getting my mind and my thoughts around having a paper due on Monday. And so what started happening, because I missed that major step, is stuff started bleeding into each other. And I just could not find the momentum, y'all. I was literally dragging. So on top of the momentum, on top of the dragging, now I'm compounding more work and more time into days. I'm not getting rest. I'm not able to do the stuff that my family's doing. I'm isolated in my office, and it's just compounding. And then then there feels like there's no weekend, and then I turn into Monday again, and now I'm starting all over because I don't know what's happening this week, right? Like, what's due this week. And so I wanted to share that because I think a lot of us experience that. A lot of us go through this where sometimes we have additional stress and anxiety. We're not motivated. We're tired and all these things. And some of it could just be a better planning, right? Better time management to help prepare our bodies and our minds for what is to come. And we don't always know, like, there are things that are unexpected that happens, but at least we can plan for the things that we actually do know that are coming down the pipe. And so, your girl normally does it, but she was feeling, I don't know, she was just chilling. But that chilling is costing me. It's costing me. So I hope that this helps. Reminder, it might be a reminder for some, might be new information for others, but you know what I'll be doing today? I'll be planning out the rest of these couple of months that I have in school for this quarter, and making sure that I'm setting myself up for success. I'm setting myself up for rest. I'm setting myself up to know what's happening. I'm not just running into the week, right? I'm not just blindly going into weeks and months, right? But I'm preparing myself for what I want to accomplish, which just doesn't include the academic perspective of it, but it also includes the rest, the self-care, and the things that I need to have to actually help me show up.